The Dallas Cowboys pulled one of the biggest trades of the offseason with wide receiver George Pickens, and that move is receiving praise around the NFL. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler delved into that and noted a coach and an AFC personnel executive who looked favorably on the Cowboys trade. Dallas acquired Pickens in a trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers last month, and the Cowboys only had to give up a third-round pick for next year and a 2027 fifth-round pick in the process. Dealing with CeeDee Lamb and him opens things up for them, an NFC East coach told ESPN via Fowler. Dallas now has a strong 1-2 punch in the passing game, with Pickens teaming up with Lamb. The unnamed AFC personnel executive sees that, too, but noted one concern. He'll be a big piece there, the AFC personnel executive told ESPN. When he's covered, he's really open. I know the concerns are there, but I think having an already established passing game with veterans to help him along, and the fact he's in a contract year, will help keep him in line. If you can tap into what he can do fully, his major ability will shine through. Pickens had 174 receptions for 2,841 yards and 12 touchdowns in his 3 seasons with the Steelers. Insider details how Steelers were easy pickings for Cowboys trade. Pittsburgh had reasons to move on from Pickens, as Fowler noted, and the Cowboys leaned into a certain strategy more than other team that was interested in the veteran wideout. The Cowboys are willing to relinquish draft capital for high-upside talent on rookie contracts, Fowler wrote. The Cowboys executed 3 trades in this realm, acquiring Buffalo Bills cornerback Kaiir Elam, New England Patriots quarterback Joe Milton III, and now Pickens, who has the talent to become a top 10 receiver. You know the Pickens trade might be a winner when people in the NFC East mention, unprompted, that the acquisition might just shift the dynamic of the Cowboys' offense, Fowler added. Cowboys HC Brian Schottenheimer likes what he sees from George Pickens. Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer has a positive impression already of Pickens with minicamp in the rearview mirror. He shows up with energy, with a smile, and ready to work, Schottenheimer told reporters on June 13th. You can't ask for more from a guy learning a new system. It's also a big season for Pickens individually, since it is a contract year for him. He will make $3.65 million with the Cowboys this year before he potentially becomes an unrestricted free agent next March. Pickens wants to make the most of the opportunity and recognizes that the Cowboys' overall speed will impact his opportunities with the playbook. It's probably the first time since college I've played with this many fast guys, Pickens told reporters on June 11th. When the whole team's fast, the scheme naturally adjusts. And that changes what I can do on the field. Pickens can also help the Cowboys boast one of the best wideout tandems in the league with Lamb this season in the process. If there is a player who has some understandings of the vagaries of how business is done with the Cowboys, it is former defensive lineman Chris Canny, a 4th-round pick by Dallas in 2005, who wound up being a pretty big draft hit. He played in all 16 games as a rookie and was a starter by year 2, launching a string of 48 straight starts for Dallas' defensive front. When it came time to pay him in free agency, after his 4th season, the Cowboys just did not have the room to take care of him, and he bolted for the Giants, who paid him $42 million over 6 seasons. It's an apples and oranges comparison to what's going on now with Dallas and a certain defensive end who needs a new contract, star pass rusher Micah Parsons. But as Canny sees it, Parsons' situation is akin to the way the Cowboys handled Dak Prescott's extension last year, as well as CeeDee Lamb's new contract. Dallas waited until the end of camp to finally sign Lamb and did not get a deal done with Prescott until the opening of the season. Micah Parsons' price tag on the rise. There is folly in that approach, as Canny pointed out. The longer the Cowboys wait to get these deals done, the more they allow other teams to set the market with their own players, raising the amount the Cowboys have to pay in the end. It's not about who's the better player, it's about who signs the deal next, Canny said on Tuesday on the ESPN show, Unsportsmanlike. It's about what the market dictates. So that's where things are. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, how can you sit back and let all these guys reset the market? Canny pointed out that 2 players had already bumped up the market from the previous high for a defensive player, Nick Bosa, at $34 million per year. Max Crosby bumped that to $35 million with his new deal from the Raiders, and Myles Garrett blew both out of the water with $40 million per year. The Steelers' TJ what is still awaiting a new contract. 2. Cowboys day late and $1 more. And that's the problem, as Canty sees it. A player like Parsons has the right to demand a payout as big as any other pass rusher. So, by letting other pass rushers push up the number, the Cowboys are costing themselves. This is not going to work out as easy as it did with Dak Prescott's or CeeDee Lamb's, just because of what we've seen happen at the position this offseason and what we know will happen before the start of the season, Canty said. So, if the Dallas Cowboys took care of this right after season's end, the high-water mark for defensive players would have been Nick Bosa at $34 million. We saw Max Crosby get paid $35 million a year. We saw Myles Garrett give defensive players and edge rushers a quantum leap with his mega deal, $40 million a year. Parsons is certain to stay with the Cowboys. But the team's bungling means it will be a more expensive deal than it needed to be. It's been a familiar theme. Why are you waiting?
Canty asked.
The Dallas Cowboys, man. Day late and $1 more, every single time. The Dallas Cowboys will be back in Oxnard for training camp in July. The team has been more active this offseason in signing free agents. Until they hit the field at the end of summer, all fans can do is speculate how these new faces will perform. One of the new faces on the defensive side is former Chicago Bear linebacker Jack Sanborn. Dallas signed Sanborn to a 1-year just a few days into free agency. While he might not have been a full-time starter in Chicago, one NFL analyst believes he is primed for a breakout season with his new team. Fox NFL reporter David Hellman listed Sanborn as one of his breakout candidates in the NFC. It was a bit of a surprising choice, but Sanborn has a legitimate chance to be a difference-maker for this defense. Jack Sanborn could end up being a bargain for the Cowboys. When the Cowboys brought on Matt Eberflus as their defensive coordinator, everyone knew significant changes were coming. Eberflus' scheme is much different than that of Mike Zimmer and Dan Quinn. One of the biggest needs for him is a linebacker room with good size and range and strong coverage skills. Sanborn was linked early to the Cowboys when free agency began. Based on his relationship with Eberflus, it was easy to circle him as a Dallas target. While Sanborn only has 19 starts to his name in his first 3 seasons, his style of play is exactly what Eberflus needs in the middle to lead his defense. Just like what Zimmer did last offseason in getting Eric Kendricks to be the quarterback of the defense, Eberflus did the same thing in bringing in Sanborn. Dallas did also trade for Kenneth Murray to compete with him in the middle, but Sanborn's familiarity with Eberflus and his scheme certainly gives him an advantage. Sanborn's journey to being a potential starter in Dallas was a long one, going back to when he first entered the league in 2022. He went undrafted but made the Bears roster his rookie year and was even named to the PFF All-Rookie team. While he played primarily a backup role with the Bears, he was behind linebackers who had far more experience and credentials. The fourth-year pro's size and reputation as an intelligent player in the middle makes him a prime candidate to succeed in Dallas. No one on the roster has a reputation like Tremaine Edmunds or TJ Edwards. The starting job at middle linebacker is Sanborn's to take. His battle with Murray will definitely be one of the stories to watch during training camp. Sanborn is only on a 1-year prove-it deal this season. If he wins the job over Murray, stands out, and this defense gets back to its old form, he could easily earn a second contract in Dallas, especially if Eberflus is back for another season. His career has not taken off yet, but with a fresh start along with a coach who believes in him, that could be all he needs to become a breakout star on this defense.